What are the latest trends and challenges in XXL processing? When it comes to XXL processing, larger sheet capacity and versatility of both profiling and bending capabilities are key to increased flexibility, shorter processing times, and ultimately lower cost per part. In LVD, we notice globally a growing interest in larger press brakes and fiber laser cutting machines. Historically, traditional thermal cutting processes like oxy-fuel or plasma have been the technology of choice for cutting large format sheet metal. As fiber lasers continue to increase in power and efficiency, together with the need for more complex and accurate parts, make the XXL fiber laser a strong choice for a growing number of large cutting applications. To stay ahead of the competition in XXL processing today, the market trends and demand is to process larger parts in a wider variety of materials and thicknesses, with increased part complexity and accuracy. There is also a demand to add more value to the part, with additional features such as bevel cutting. The challenges ahead include the need to process larger and more complex parts, the processing of thicker materials with increased part accuracy, the need to add more value, for instance beveling, and ensuring optimal accessibility to the process area for the best flow. LVD's introduction of the Taurus reimagines the capabilities of XXL laser cutting, introducing a modular design fiber laser cutting system with enhanced functionality and features to increase flexibility, efficiency, material flow, and processing speeds. Why does a modular design add extra flexibility? Taurus is available with bed sizes from 10 meter till 42 meter. This modularity allows you to choose the most suitable length depending on the available space in your workshop or a desired number of larger sheets you like to put one after the other on the cutting table. Here you see an example where you can load 3 12-meter sheets. This flexibility will lead to increased productivity. The typical bottleneck in this type of XXL production is the time it takes your operators to load big sheets and unload large finished parts with the help of overhead cranes. This Taurus gives you the ability to unload and load on 90% of the available cutting area while the machine keeps cutting. On Taurus, we can expand the boundaries with bevel cutting. On the Taurus, customers can opt for an optional bevel cutting head. This will allow you to make welding preparations, chamfering, and cut holes for countersunk bolts. In order to guarantee part accuracy, incorporating 2 extra axes, so in total 5, we go a step further and make use of direct drive motors for the bevel head. Without any transmission or the use of driving belts, we can now achieve the highest possible accuracy in bevel cutting. Whether you plan to cut holes for countersunk bolts or you want to give the edge the right angle for an optimal welding preparation, the bevel head on the Taurus will take care of it and prevent that you need to manipulate those large and heavy parts to another machine for additional operations. A huge cost saving in these competitive times. Before we start cutting, I would like to explain a bit more about the Taurus. Unlike other XXL fiber laser cutting machines, Taurus does not need a huge safety cover that hides half of the cutting area. As a customer, you have optimal access for unloading, loading while the machine is cutting. This leads to a higher flexibility and increased productivity. On the same footprint, you can not only cut half the machine length, like a shuttle bed machine, but also longer parts, or if needed, parts twice that long. To keep machine dynamics high, we decided not to move the laser with the gantry. The fiber laser source, chiller, and electrical cabinet are positioned stationary on the left side or next to the filter unit at the end. You notice we added an extra screen next to the Taurus user interface, where we monitor images from 2 IP cameras inside the machine. Taurus is extremely dynamic for a machine of this size and weight. In order to avoid accidents during loading and unloading, a high level of safety devices have been added. These give a warning so you can step away in time or bring the gantry to a full stop in case someone ignores the warning. Not only operators are protected, scanners also protect our Taurus from collision with, for instance, a sheet somebody accidentally left on the overhead crane or the hook of the overhead crane hanging too low. To avoid that the fiber laser beam escapes out of the protective cover, we shield off the gap between cutting table and cover with multiple special protective curtains on both ends. A generous revolving door right next to the control gives good access to the cutting head and nozzle changer. For full access to the 3.3 meter wide cutting area, you can unlock the front cover and drive the gantry away. This allows to perform cleaning inside and do the necessary maintenance in a comfortable way. On XXL cutting machines, operators often need to step on the tables to assist during loading and unloading. Wide and solid stairs over the full machine width give safe access to the cutting table. Standard, the Taurus is equipped with a cutting head for straight cutting with a stroke of 200 mm. The optional head for bevel cutting has a stroke of 300 mm to allow cutting under 45 degrees in all directions. For straight cutting parts till 3200 mm wide can be cut. Due to the high power level and the high intensity of the fiber laser beam, we are forced to limit the stroke on bevel cutting 45 degrees towards the outside to 2600 mm in order to prevent overheating or damage to the fume extraction and machine frames. A turret design nozzle changer is moving together with the gantry to keep the distance to the cutting head small. This turret can hold 30 nozzles for straight cutting. A machine with optional bevel cutting head can hold 2 types of nozzles, 15 standard ones for straight cutting, 15 sharp ones suitable for bevel cutting. Every nozzle changer features an integrated camera that checks nozzle alignment, size, and condition. Cutting thick steel generates a lot of smoke. In order to guarantee efficient fume extraction, an optimal downwards airflow is needed. Fumes are conveniently evacuated through the left and right machine frame. As mentioned earlier in the virtual tech session, Taurus is a modular laser cutting system available with a bed size from 10 to 42 meters. Here you see some examples with possible sheet layout. On a shuttle bed machine, 2 times 8 meter, you are limited to 8 meter parts. On a Taurus of the same length, you can also cut parts twice that long. This Taurus can handle 2 sheets of 12 by 3 meter. Even 3 sheets 12 by 3 meter fit on the cutting table of our longest model. The offline programming software allows to define the type of bevel cutting or welding preparation. Most common are the so-called V, Y, and X cut. We do have an optional plugin available for SolidWorks, Solid Edge, and Inventor. This allows you to export the part, including bevel information, to your programming software with just one click of the mouse.